People ask me all the time what I mix Total ISO at. Honestly, I mix it with everything. Water, egg whites.
What the f, Jay?
Capone, Daisy.
Jay, seriously? Don't.
Big Ryan, we made it.
We made it. We finally did it.
It's been a while since I've been trying to get you on the channel,
It's been
man.
a while.
I think, what is you, Fit Club?
Yes,
the first time?
We were supposed to do New York Pro, and then that didn't happen, but finally we made it.
We're sure what you're doing over here. What is that? Jay would say, what is that, a secret?
I got the color nutrition. When I tell you, these two together, Prevail and Amplify, amazing. Such a clean pump. Gets in really fast, does what it's supposed to do, and gets out afterwards like it's supposed to.
Well, I'm going to make sure Jay sees this video then.
Oh, for sure. Making a mess, but it's worth it.
What are we training today, Ryan?
We are going to do chest and tris.
Okay.
We are 10 days out.
10 days out.
Chicago Pro.
A lot of people from this gym doing Chicago.
Yes.
Big crew from this place. That's awesome.
Big crew.
Yeah.
Vegas crew representing.
That's it. And you got the Neil Cup. I have one of those.
Yeah,
I need to ask him another one because I broke the top. Actually, so Neil, if you see this,
Yes.
I need a new cup when you come back.
Shout out to my coach. He's amazing.
I know, Neil's great. We'll talk about it. All right, so we're gonna do some chest and triceps with Ryan, and then we'll talk in a minute. Good to have you, man.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right, you guys, Dave Mad Max 6. We are back yet again at the Dragon's Lair, and I have the great pleasure to have on the channel for the first time, Ryan Clark, IFBB Pro. Ryan, welcome to JTV, man.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I've been trying to be here for a long time.
I know, man. It's been a long time coming. So we first met for the first time at Fit Club. Well, I was there with Jay, and he pointed you out. I said, "This kid's really good. I think he's doing New York. Let's try to get him on the channel." So that was way back in April.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
So a lot has happened since then. You didn't actually end up doing New York. You're 11 days out from the Chicago Pro, and this will be your first pro show this year, correct?
Yes, my very first this year, but my second pro show, period. Yes.
All right, so you look great. Thank you so much for coming today. I want to go back a little bit and give people an idea of where you came from. You told me off camera you were from Atlanta, right?
Yes, Atlanta, Georgia.
And how long have you been in Vegas?
I've been in Vegas since November of last year.
And why did you move to Vegas?
Just some personal reasons, and just everything kind of fell into place. Came out here for personal reasons and stayed. And then I stayed. Neil ended up becoming my coach. Neil Yoda Hill became my coach, and I mean, pretty much just the bodybuilding movement is just in Vegas right now. So it just all worked out for me. It was perfect.
All right, so shout out to Yoda. We miss him. He's out of the state right now, out of the country, but we can't wait to have him back. So Ryan, when did you start in bodybuilding? How many years ago, and how did you get into it?
Actually, surprising. I've only actually been consistently in the gym for 3 years, actually.
Really?
Yeah, really.
You look this good?
Yeah. Okay. By Lord's grace. I had a friend who, he's not pro, but been doing bodybuilding for a long time. And he was just like, man, you got great genetics. You should get in the gym, clean up your diet, see where it goes. I started doing it, and I just fell in love with it. And, you know, I did 4 shows and turned pro.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, on my 4th show, turned pro.
Wow. And how did you learn the basics? How did you learn, the basic of training and diet? Who showed? Did you learn online? Did you have a coach? Tell me how you learned.
Well, my friend, shout out to Kirkland Thomas or whatever, he's the one who brought me into bodybuilding, really great friend of mine. And then after that, I went through a couple of coaches just trying to find my way, find my fit. I met some really phenomenal people. Shout out to Mike Rattini, who was one of my very first coaches. Shout out to Omar. I did a prep with him as well. Name speaks for itself. And just found my fit and turned pro and just paid attention. I'm a type of person, I like to sit back and actually just learn. I was completely new to the sport, so I was just there just to soak everything in, you know, looking at guys like Jay and Ronnie, but also looking up to guys who are in my men's physique division, guys like Rhyan and Luck, and these are guys who I don't necessarily want to emulate, but I look at the dedication that they give to the sport, because of course I plan to also be competition to them at some point.
motivate
as well.
you.
So, you know, just motivation, you know.
Yeah. Were you an athlete before? Were you into sports before you got into bodybuilding?
Crazy thing about it, I didn't play any sports in high school at all.
So what did you do?
I like to dance. I was, you know,
So dance?
dance. So that was my thing. I played football for the Marine Corps for my unit for a little while.
You're in the military?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Jay's gonna love to hear that. You know that he loves military, police officer. All these guys. This is in Jay's wheelhouse. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I did 2 tours while in the Marine Corps. You know, and then got out and just kind of wanted to find my way after that. And but yeah, I played ball for a little bit, but never was. I was always athletic, but I was never really an athlete. If you get what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you train in the military? Because I know a lot of the guys in the military. You guys do that a lot. They love bodybuilding.
Well, for sure. I mean, we definitely. You ain't got nothing else to do when you're in Iraq, and it just, you know,
and train.
yeah, exactly. Just work out and just, you know, try to eat okay, and you know, but yeah, but I never really was serious with it until I'm 32 now, so yeah, when I was like barely turning 30.
It's a good age. So did you actually go see a contest? So how did you get the bug? How did you actually say, this is something I want to do? I could see myself doing this?
Well, I've always respected the sport, so I've always watched and just been completely amazed by watching, you know, Pumping Iron and watching Arnold and all those guys who really paved the way. And how I look now is how I've always wanted to look. I felt I wanted to look this way. So I mean, definitely my confidence is
How great is that?
through the roof now, because I feel like I'm really becoming into the person I'm supposed to be. Bodybuilding is, I feel like I've done so many things, you know, really jack of all trades, really, but not really a master of anything. And I feel like I finally found my niche, which is just bodybuilding and just the fitness realm in general. You know,
It's a great feeling.
yeah, it's a phenomenal feeling. Yeah.
So how did you hook up with Neil? How did that happen?
So fortunately, here at the Dragon's Lair, I was at Fit Club, and where a lot of great beginnings happened there. I saw Flex at the gym, and crazy, embarrassing story, but I didn't know who he was, and I looked at him and I said, "Oh, so do you bodybuild?
You should compete.
You should compete." And somebody was like, "Oh yeah, you know, he's just, you know, like 7-time Olympian." You know, I felt so embarrassed, but it was genuine though. It wasn't on purpose.
didn't think nothing by it.
Yeah, but he didn't even tell me that Neil was his coach. He just said, "Hey, you know," asked me, you know, what I was doing. He said, "You should look up this guy. He's really, really great." And you know, I took an initiative and looked him up, and the rest is history from there. You know.
So do you feel like you made a lot of progress since you hooked up with Neil? Because I remember when he was still here, you guys were training together, and I was still trying to get you on the channel. But your shows, you had some issues finally for you to be able to pick a show. Tell me what happened since New York, and why do you decide to do the Chicago Pro instead?
When I got with Neil, and you know, one thing I like about him, he's very forward, and he looked at me and said, "Hey, can you say in your heart of hearts right now that you've made progress since the last time you stepped on stage before you trying to do New York Pro?" And I couldn't honestly say that I did. So we took some time off and, you know, got on a really good regimen and just, you know, training and eating and supplementing and everything like that. And we made some progress. And, you know, we weren't going to compete this year, but I kind of went to him and said, "Hey, coach, I really like to get on stage this year. If you think that that it's possible," you know, he asked me what show I wanted to do. It was far enough out, and he said, "Hey, let's do it. Let's pull the trigger." And he's taken my physique to a completely different level. The knowledge and the wherewithal that he has is just absolutely amazing. I'm not just saying that he's my coach, because I mean, even just looking at other athletes who aren't even me, he's just true science behind his coaching. It's not just him messing around or thumbing through BS to just, you know, and he's going to keep it honest with you. It's times where I thought I looked great and I sent the check-in picture and I'm confident, like, "Oh yeah, look at me." And he's like,
You stink.
"Hey, we got to work harder. We got to work harder."
That's
so,
a good
you know,
coach.
yeah, but it helps me keep myself grounded and then not get complacent either, though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, they don't call him Yoda for nothing, right?
Exactly, for sure.
So how many months is that since did you start with him around April or?
Yeah, pretty much. I started with him around April to be exact.
So May, June, July. Yeah, so 3-4 months, at least 3-4 months.
Yeah.
And so you made that much progress in 3 months. That's great.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Tell me some of the changes in the training technique or maybe in the diet that he brought to the table that you weren't doing before. The biggest difference to you.
Well, as far as training, definitely just the quality of the reps, but then also not taking high reps and lowering weight, but actually taking the heavy weight and still getting high repetitions out of it. Slow control, squeeze, pause, getting really, truly, really good repetitions that, sometimes,
Clean reps.
really clean reps that really develops the muscle fully. As far as dieting wise, just a super simple but complex in the same breath, and it's just he really pays attention to how my body reacted to the food, and if it was something like he made sure we switch when we need to.
Yeah, so minor details, but makes a big difference in the end.
Very big difference.
Yeah.
Very, very big difference. I didn't gain and the crazy thing about it, I didn't gain a whole bunch of weight. I didn't say, oh yeah, well I gained 20 pounds I stayed around the same weight, but it's just the quality of it was just so much
The shape of the body and the density.
better. Everything, yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So Chicago is next on the docket. Do you have any plans to do anything else after? Would you like to do something else, or what do you think?
Oh, we're doing Chicago Pro, and then we're going to go do Tampa Pro as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it, 2 weeks later, right?
Yeah. Back to back. I'm going to do those 2 shows and see what happens, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
32 years old. You're just getting started. You're very new in the game. What do you want to do with this whole bodybuilding thing? What's the end goal?
My end game is, of course, I want to be an Olympian. I would like to win an Olympia. But mostly, I just want to be just a true representation of what it means to be an IFBB pro, because you have a lot of, and no shade to anyone, but you have a lot of guys who go pro in this sport and they're not representing the true embodiment of what it is to be a bodybuilder and take it serious. We are professional athletes. We're just like NFL or Major League Baseball or any other major sport. Anybody off the street can't come and do this.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's the things that people don't see that makes this sport hard. It's the reason why we look the way we look on stage.
It's 24/7. I don't think people understand. Any other sport, you could be good at ball. Yeah, it is full time. It is full time. You're right. But it's something that you have to do it day in and day out. No days off, especially when you prep. Whereas if you play baseball or hockey, whatever, you have to perform. You have to be good when you play. But the rest of the time, you kind of just, you don't have to be on the ball constantly. So bodybuilding, once you prep for something, it's 16 weeks. And that's it. It never stops.
Yeah. And I just, and just showing that just the newer generation, you don't have to be a specific mold to be successful in the sport. You can be short. You can be tall.
That's right.
You can be built all type of ways. As long as it looks good on your frame, you can go out there and win.
And that's what's great about all those new categories. You're in men's physique, but there's also classic. There's all those categories that we didn't have before.
Yo, definitely. I just would like to just, at the end of the day, I just want to be a good representation for the league, not just on stage, but off stage, helping and showing up to those seminars and helping the new guys pose, or just giving them insight about dieting and everything like that. Is just never getting so beside myself if I'm being successful that I don't have time to reach back and give the same knowledge back to the sport.
It's great you're saying that. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking of, your good friend here, Alan, who had on the we had Alan over that we had on the show before, and you called him today to say, hey, I'm filming for GTD, can you come and push me? And he came.
It was no problem. He
Even though he's a competitor, he was here for you.
literally left work early so he can come and push me because he knew I was filming today. Like that's
awesome.
The true camaraderie that it's supposed to be in a sport. And now, granted, don't get me wrong. When we get on stage together, he's coming for my throat, I'm coming for his. But off stage, you don't have to do this.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, you go through your prep, I'm gonna go through mine. When we step on stage, it's just whatever you put together is what you put together, and that's on you. It's no reason to be for all the extra,
Yeah. That's kind of why you moved here. You told me you came here from Atlanta and Georgia, and you said you fell in love with the atmosphere, the energy of the gym, and the fact that you're all here for the same goal, to get better, to make progress, and that's what you wanted.
Yes. I mean, especially here at the Dragon's Lair and specific, it's full of so many great competitors, both pro and NPC, who just a wealth of knowledge is always passed around between all of us, and the camaraderie is here, and it's just everybody is here to help each other.
Yes.
Winning if they can. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you have to go into your own bubble, because you got to focus on your goal. But overall, it's just always a really great environment here. Like, again, even just some of the biggest names, you'll see a Sean Roden or Flex Willer or Flex Lewis or just all these big-time guys who aren't so big that they don't stop to say, hey, how you doing? Like, everything is cool, or, you know, or just speak. And it makes our day to, you know, us up-and-coming guys who really look up to these people. It means the world to us.
That's what you want to do. You want to pay it forward and be that person later.
Exactly. Definitely pay it forward. Oh, and of course, Jay, you know.
We can't forget about him. I love it. I love your attitude. I love that you have such a positive outlook on the sport and on the whole thing of bodybuilding. And I'm grateful you came today. I'm glad we finally pinned you down to be on JTV. This is the first time, but I'm sure it's not the last, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of Cutler TV with me, and you will be seeing me again. Thank you, Jay. Special shout out. You've been nothing but extremely kind to me ever since I came to Vegas from the very beginning. Also, let me say it again. If you're not taking it, Color Nutrition, that Prevail and Amplify, you put those two together, you saw the pump during the video.
Yeah, so this must be the pre-workout. Yeah.
Listen, I promise you, like, that's no cap. It's great.
All right, guys. Dave My Max 6 with Ryan Clark. 11 days from the Chicago Pro. Keep an eye out for this guy, and we're out.